suit on that dresser. Ain't afraid to show it, I'll expose it if I dress up. Riding in that tester, roasted nigga ketchup. Sipping on that Sevra, till I messed up like yes sir. So now I'm getting changed, people looking at me strange. Like niggas switching lanes, never change, still the same. We fuck bitches, get paper, we fuck niggas on paper.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. So today, a quick video that's going to be easy that I can do before doing the video that you guys chose on my Instagram poll. I decided to do some newborn must-haves, or just like some things that so far I have kind of like thought that you guys should definitely get if you're having a newborn. These are just some tips and stuff that I have for you guys. I'm going to do a similar video in the next couple of weeks, talking about like big things, small things, like things that I absolutely have fallen in love with for Grayson, like things that I use on a daily basis, like all those types of things. But this is just kind of like some smaller things that I really recommend getting. I will probably mention some of these things in the other video that I will be posting in a couple of weeks. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm just gonna get right on with this video. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is feeding. So for feedings, if you are breastfeeding, obviously go for it. There's nothing really I can talk about with breastfeeding because I did not like normal breastfeed at all throughout my experience of being a mom. I tried to breastfeed normally and he just did not latch on at all. I did pump for a little bit after we came back home, just because again he wasn't latching properly and all of that. But then overall I just couldn't breastfeed because my milk supply went away. I'm going to probably film a video talking about my breastfeeding experience and feeding experience of him overall, because it is quite a long story of the processes and stuff that we've gone through. But basically, if you are formula feeding or breast milk feeding through a bottle for them, sorry, I thought I just saw him move. If you are feeding him through a bottle at all, I definitely recommend going high end and getting some good bottles. I went the cheap route and got some cheap Walmart Parent Choice bottles, and he is not able to use them because he eats super duper fast. He is a type of baby that spits up a lot if the flow is not super slow. The bottles that we got from Walmart were Parent Choice, and they were claimed to be a slow flow nipple, which technically is supposed to mean that it does not allow a lot of milk to flow out of the nipple so that they don't get too much and they're guzzling it down and getting an upset stomach. But he still found a way to apparently eat really fast. So my first tip, my first big tip is to go high end and just buy good bottles that are good for spitting up and all of that and keeping air out of their bellies, because you never know. You don't want to pay all this money out on like bottles that you think are gonna work when you could go this route. Even if your baby is fine with normal bottles, you can still use these. These will still work just as same as normal bottles. But I definitely wish that I had just went and bought these ones instead of trying to save money and buying cheap stuff, because trust me, sometimes it is good to buy cheap things for babies because just overall it's just easier. But some things definitely go high end and pay good money for. These I love. I got the bigger ones so I wouldn't have to go out and buy the bigger ones. If I didn't think that buying the smaller ones and then buying the bigger ones made very much sense, because just buy the big ones and you can use them pretty much all the time. But these are the Dr. Brown's bottles. They have this little tube in there. Hopefully you can see it. It's blue. And what that tube does is it takes all the air that's in the formula and it puts it back down to the bottom of the bottle, so the baby is not sucking in a whole bunch of air, causing a bunch of air bubbles, which can cause them to spit up a whole bunch when they do burp. We did notice that he was getting a lot of air into his belly with these other bottles, so it was causing him to throw up pretty much all of the formula that he was eating. He was miserable. He definitely was not gaining weight because he was just spitting it all up. But after we got these, he started to do way better. He's still spitting up sometimes a lot, so I'm trying a new formula with him right now that will help with his spitting up, so hopefully that works. But they have these kind of like bottles, and then they have like the big thick ones that are good to hold, but I personally like the smaller ones better. I only have 2 of the big huge ones and they work, but I'd rather use these ones. So my next tip is for burp cloths. You don't have to go out and spend money on buying both burp cloths, receiving blankets. I personally bought a package of, or I got packages of big receiving blankets, and then I got a couple packages of smaller receiving blankets. I love to use those for burp cloths. I have one normal burp cloth. It is the long one that's kind of like ovalish looking. I do really like that one, but personally I like the burp cloths that I've been using, aka receiving blankets. You can use them for both covering up the baby and using it as burp cloth, and you don't have to have a bunch of blankets laying around. They both work just the same. Obviously get a clean blanket when you're using to wrap them up and not using the spit up blanket, but I do really recommend it. I will show you guys this one. I just pulled his being out of his crib. Awesome. This is a receiving blanket. It is like a light blanket so that it's not too warm on them, but it's good for them to wrap up. It's super duper pretty big. It's bigger than Grayson pretty much. But I've been using this one for a burp cloth tonight. But basically I like those, so I really recommend those. And the last thing that never mind, I have one more thing after this. The next thing that I really recommend, if you are formula feeding, I seriously recommend you getting like 2 or 3 of these. These things are amazing, because I can tell you guys, I can't count the times that I haven't filled these up and I've had to try to rush to make him a bottle and trying to scoop it out and putting it in the bottle. I can't tell you guys how many times I've dumped that formula all over the place and gotten so frustrated with wasting formula, because formula is not cheap. It is expensive. I am so thankful that I have checks where I don't have to pay money for it. Praise the Lord. These things are compactors that have 3 little sections in it, and all you do is you scoop out the amount that each of your bottles would take, and the top rotates. So all you do is you pop the top open, put it in the nozzle of your bottle, shake it in with water in it, and that's that. You just shake up the bottle and it's all made. You don't have to worry about scooping it out of the container and trying to like balance it so that it doesn't tip out of the bottle. This has definitely saved my life, especially at 4 in the morning when I'm making him a bottle and I'm half asleep. Comes in handy. These are also handy for when you're on the go and you're taking your baby with you. You don't have to carry around that big old thing of formula. You can just grab one of these, fill it up for how many bottles you're going to be taking with you, and go. I have 3 of these. I keep them all full at all times. I keep 2 by my bed, 1 in the diaper bag, so I always have 1 next to me and 1 in the diaper bag for whenever I leave. I just love these. I guess I have 2 more things to show you guys. I have a lot of feeding tips for you guys, honestly. The next thing that I recommend is kind of coincides together. So my next tip is, if you are formula feeding, once again, instead of getting up every night to go to the sink to fill up your bottle, your baby's bottle, I really recommend just getting bottled water. I just get cases of water bottles. I keep them down in my room next to wherever I have his bottles and everything, and they're right there at my grasp so that I can quickly fill up the bottle, pour the formula in, and go. I don't have to worry about going upstairs. Obviously the only time that I go to the sink to give him, like, fill up his bottle is at night, right before he gets ready, when I'm getting him ready for bed and it's like his feeding before he goes to bed. I give him a warm bottle to help him fall asleep. And the last kind of like tip that goes together with this is I pre-fill 3 bottles at night. I always have pre-filled bottles that have water in them. I pour in the water up to the ounce amount that he drinks, which is 4 ounces. So in the middle of the night, I don't have to worry about trying to pour it in when he's screaming his head off. All I do is open it up, pour the formula in, shake up the bottle, and go. Super duper easy. I really recommend pre-filling water because I know some people don't do that. I really recommend doing it because obviously the water isn't going to go bad just sitting in here because it's sitting in a water bottle. Pouring it into another bottle is not going to do anything, especially if you have the top on it. So yeah. And the last feeding tip that I have for you guys is, just because this is for people who are using formula. If you have a formula brand that, or like a type of formula that you really like, but you don't like how much you are paying for it, because trust me, I know formula is super duper expensive. For a can like this small, it's $20. What I recommend is to look around. Honestly, I found, ooh, this top was not on all the way. I found this Similac, I don't know how to say it. This stuff, so this is one for helping with spit up. I'm just trying this on him now. Originally he was using the Enfamil Gentlease, and that was expensive. It was $20, but I get it with his WIC checks, so I only had to pay for like 3 cans so far because he ran out of cans. But if you are a person that isn't getting checks or anything, and you are noticing that formula is becoming super duper expensive, my tip to you is to look around, because honestly you could find brands of formula that are the exact same as like higher end brands. This has the same like ingredients and nutrition and everything in it as the Enfamil one that's for spit up. It has everything the exact same in this, and it's like $3 cheaper. So I'm glad that I found this. I think it works perfectly fine. It's helped him with his spit up ever since we've given him a bottle with this stuff in it. He hasn't spit up at all. So this is the same pretty much as the Gentlease one that would be, or the spit up one that's from Enfamil. So definitely look around for other brands that are cheaper, because they more than likely have the same ingredients and nutrition and vitamins and everything in it, and it's just cheaper. So just look around. Obviously make sure you read the ingredients and everything to make sure that it has all the same stuff in it, because you don't want to give your baby something that does not have the same stuff in it just by getting them a lower brand. You want to make sure it has everything in it that you were originally giving it to them, unless your doctor says so. But obviously if you find a off brand that is the exact same as like a high-end brand and it's cheaper, go for it, because it will work the exact same. So the only really big, well, I guess I have two like kind of like nighttime ones. So my first tip for you guys for nighttime is to give them a warm bottle. Obviously that has helped Grayson a lot. If you don't know, Grayson has been having trouble sleeping lately. He goes to bed and he like just fights it a lot, so we have found ways to help him go to bed better. The next thing is baby lotion for nighttime. This lotion has calming lavender in it, which helps him get super duper sleepy. I massage this all over his body. Even if he doesn't get a bath, he gets it every single night. I give him a nice massage, I put him in his PJs, I get him a warm bottle, and I give him his bottle, and he's off to sleep. I just fed him probably like an hour and a half ago, and he's still sleeping over there. So this has definitely helped a lot. I made sure to get this the first week that we were home. And my last tip for nighttime is to have these blankets. So originally I had one of these blankets, and these are the nice, really fluffy blankets. And the reason that I say I really recommend getting these is it is towards the end of the summer. When I had him, it was basically the middle of summer. It was super hot out. I still use these things. You might not think you would use these things right now considering it's hot out. It's the summertime, but guys, I did use these. Newborns get cold really easily, so when hot temperatures that might be warm for us, it still might be pretty chilly for them. I've used these things for countless things. If he's laying on my bed, these things, especially this type, I lay him on these on my bed. I put these underneath him because there's no way he can suffocate when they're all folded up and everything and not like bunched up. He lays on one in his bed, which I know some people will probably be controversial about that, but trust me, unless he rolls onto his stomach, it's the same exact way as a sheet on a crib mattress would be. It's flat, not bunched up around him so where his face could be covered by it, and it works. He stays nice and warm in there since it's underneath him and keeping him nice and warm. He never sleeps with a blanket over him because he just doesn't need it. I wouldn't give him one anyways unless he was swaddled in it, which Grayson hates to be swaddled, but I really recommend getting a bunch of these. I have 4 altogether. I have 3 big ones that are like this size, and then I have a smaller one for when we're on the go, like if he's in his car seat, I'll put it over his lap so he doesn't get cold. So yeah, that's my only tips for nighttime, or like basically bedtime. So my last and final tip to you guys is, if you do not have these, if you, obviously I'm pretty sure a lot of parents have their babies in their room with them, at least for the first couple of months of them being born before they move them into their own room. But my big tip to you guys is, if your baby is sleeping in your room, here is a big tip to you guys. If you're changing your baby on your bed and feeding them in your bed and everything like that, I really recommend getting one of these totes. These are fabric boxes that go into cube organizers, and what I do is, obviously it's not really all how it's supposed to be right now. I kind of just threw a bunch of diapers in here, but normally in this tote I keep diapers, wipies, all of his medicines like his Tylenol, his Gas-X, his thermometer, all of that kind of stuff. I keep rash cream in here. I keep pre-filled bottles so it has all the water in it, and then I have those little fill things. I have a burp cloth in here. I think that's basically everything that I put in here. Oh, his lotions go in here too. And I started putting this next to my bed because I was so tired. 3 o'clock in the morning, him being up, I'm overtired, so I was not ready to get up out of my bed. Just since I just wanted to get up, grab him, and sit back down. I was so not in the mood to get up to run around to grab everything while he's crying and everything like that. It was all next to my bed, right at my reach. I would fill up a bottle, get it all shook together. After that, I would get his diaper changed, grab the bottle, feed him, put him back to bed, put the box on the floor, and prepare for that in the next 3 hours. So it's all there right at my reach. So I really recommend this to be next to your bed because it's right at your reach, and it saved me from getting up and him being more grumpy at night. So that is my last tip to you guys. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys all in the next video. Bye guys!